From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Your weekend weather update is made possible by Caltrans District 2.
Happy Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger in for Brian Wilson this morning, but no need to worry. He'll be back at noon and this evening and the rest of the weekend. I'm just here filling in for the morning hours here. And we're going to take a look at Kruger's Quickcast while I'm here, right? Let's do the Kruger's Quickcast. Let's get you out the door this morning. Now, what you'll notice is going to be much cooler out there than it has been. Now, don't let all the raindrops there, scare you. It's not going to be a downpour or a washout, but everywhere where you're seeing those raindrops, you've got the chance for showers this morning, including Modoc County. Now, the eastern mountains are probably going to hold off late morning, early afternoon before you start seeing some showers. So here's the main area of low pressure. Here's the storm system that's producing the rain. Now, as expected, there was a nice line of rain that approached the coast last night and moved through the coast. Then, as it moved over the coastal range, as expected, it broke apart. And you can kind of see how it's just not quite as prominent and doesn't look as strong as when it was first approaching the coast, right? But of course, now we're just seeing that all push to the east, and we're looking at cool and unsettled air. That's going to give us the showers through the morning and even this afternoon. And there will be periods of moderate to maybe even some heavy rainfall for some of us. So there you can see where some of the more higher intensity showers here, that's where you're going to see some of that moderate rainfall. I don't anticipate any thunderstorms, but again, you can kind of just see it's sprinkled around the area. So everyone 9 o'clock this morning, we'll be looking at that chance for showers. And you'll notice, especially in the east here, we're just not seeing as much activity, right? But then we go into the noon hour. The main line is now to the east of the valley. So you're seeing this is where we're seeing the best chances for showers. Behind that, by noon, just a few sprinkles, maybe a light shower here and there. Once again, for everyone, the coast, the mountains, the valley. It's just going to be one of those unsettled days, right? We may even see some breaks in the clouds in there, especially by the second half of the day. Now, speaking of the second half of the day, by 5 p.m. today, it's really starting to dry out. Most of the rain is to the east of even California into Nevada. So as we go into tonight, it's completely dry at that point, and things are clearing out even more. So let's take a look at your forecast for today. We saw where the rain's going to be through the day, right? Now let's talk about those temperatures. Very nice. This is where we should be, right? This is fall, folks. 70 degrees, low 70s for the valley, 60s for most of the higher elevations, and low to mid 60s for the coast for those daytime highs. Now, quick look at your 7-day outlook. We are going to see warmer temperatures Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'll talk more about that smoke and haze here in a second. But there you can see the chance for showers again by Wednesday. In fact, we're seeing temperatures really drop again for the middle to latter part of next week. Let's take you to the coast. Temperatures dropping now the upper 50s by Thursday, Friday, but temperatures up, down, then back up again as we get towards the end of next week, even into next weekend, right? We take a look at Mount Shasta, Alturas, and Susanville, and you got temperatures going up, back down again, and then maybe back up again towards the end of next week. All right, that's Kruger's Quickcast. I hope you have yourselves a great day, but let's take a look at that deeper dive forecast for those of you that want a bigger picture of what's going on here over the next few days. Cooler and unsettled today. You'll notice significantly cooler than it has been. You'll notice off and on chances for showers throughout the day, and really for the first half of the day. By the afternoon, evening, those chances start to diminish. It'll be clear and warmer for your Sunday, but also some smoke and haze in the valley. It looks like we may see the shoe fire bring in more smoke again here for your Sunday. Again, we'll take a look at that here a little bit later. Warmer and a dry start to next week with cool and unsettled weather by the middle to latter part of next week. So I'm not seeing any heat waves. We're not going to get into the 90s or the triple digits. At least that's what it's looking like at this point. All right, I want to just kind of give you a few disclaimers when we look at this. Number one, this fire perimeter is actually the first fire perimeter that was released. For some reason, powers that be are not releasing any of the new fire perimeters, so this is not the latest fire perimeter. But I just put this on here and kept this up here so you can see as a general reference of where the fire is. Now, the latest report, and another disclaimer is, a lot of times after I record this, we get new updates on acreage and even containment. So bear that in mind. That's why it's important throughout the day for you to check weathernorcal.com, go to the fire page, and that'll give you the latest information. But there you can see 2,237 acres as I'm recording this morning with 0% containment. Did get a request from some folks in the surrounding areas. Big Bend in particular was asking if they could be put on the map. There you go, right? So there you can see, of course, the fire. Again, keep in mind that this is not the latest fire perimeter, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea where the fire is compared to where some of these other areas are. I'm going to zoom it out here now as a better perspective. There's the fire. See, I mean, it's not very big, but I mean, over 2,000 acres. But you can see I-5 right here. So it's in a very rural area, but keep in mind too that surrounding the fire, there are evacuation orders. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind here. So that's kind of the latest look at the fire there. Now let's talk about the smoke that will be produced from that fire. Today, it's not going to be so much of a concern because we've got the clouds, we've got the showers out there, but over the vicinity of the fire itself, and kind of to the north of it, there may still be some smoke and some haze, especially out near Mount Shasta and then down into southeastern portions of Siskiyou County as well. But otherwise, it doesn't look all that bad. But the winds are going to be coming in from north and blowing southward. As a result, I think tomorrow morning, we're talking smoke and haze in the valley. It's been terrible air quality the last few days, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a break today, but not so much on Sunday. The winds are still coming in from the north Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, so there still may be some haze and smoke by Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, but it looks like based on this particular forecast model, it wants to kind of clear some of that haze and smoke out. But just be prepared for the air quality not being so great on Sunday. There you can see your winds. Yeah, actually, as the storm system moves through, we're not seeing those winds really pick up a whole lot. We go into Sunday, wind's not that much of a factor, and that's also the case on Monday as well. It looks like they're picking up a little bit on Monday, but not that much of a concern. And take a look at the humidity. Now that the temperatures are much cooler, look at that, 40, 50, 60% relative humidity. Oh boy, that's nice. You can see it's going to drop back down to the low to mid-20s, but still, at least we're not in the single digits. We're not in the typical summer dry conditions here, because even into Monday, we're still at about 20 to 25%. So the overall fire weather risk, not that big of a concern. However, as we do see the things begin to dry out, by Sunday to Monday, there might be a little bit more elevated fire weather risk, but nothing major. So again, you can see that's the rain last night and early this morning. You can see just how prominent and strong that ridge or that cold front was. But then as it moved over the coastal range, look what happened. Yes, as usual, it broke apart. It weakened, and we just didn't see as much rainfall over it. However, we're still dealing with that cool and unstable air behind that system or behind that cold front, and that's going to keep the chance for showers out there. You'll see that here. Here's another look that we just looked at during Kruger's Quickcast, but we'll take another look at it here. Here you can see at noon, there's where most of it is, right? Then we go into about 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's pretty much done at this point. Things are starting to clear out. And then for Saturday night tonight, we're looking at clearing skies. Now look at the coast. We're still seeing some of the low clouds and fog through the day on Sunday, but everyone else, it's warming up. And you're seeing more sunshine, minus, of course, that smoke and haze I mentioned earlier for the valley. And then Monday, more of that low clouds and fog along the coast, but still looking at mainly clear skies for the valley. All right, so I just haven't been too happy with what the forecast model's been doing by putting in numbers here, so I don't want to do that. Because a lot of times that can mislead you into thinking that, oh my goodness, it's showing 1/4 of an inch in Chico when we won't get anywhere near that. And that's what it's doing. So I like this particular model here because what it does is this kind of broad brushes it, especially when a system like this, when it's isolated off and on, it's really difficult to put numbers in there. So you have to kind of get more of a generalized idea. So where you see the light shades of green, that's anywhere from a trace to upwards, at most, 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. When you get into these darker shades of green right here, that's about 1/10 of an inch of rainfall to maybe upwards of, say, 1/4 at most. And then the darkest shades of green that you're seeing on the map here, that's 1/4 of an inch and maybe a little bit more. And that's just through the day today. Keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at here for today. So let's take a look at the longer range forecast. Here's through Monday, we're dry. Tuesday is dry, but we do have another system coming in on Wednesday. You see how weak it is, so I don't anticipate a lot of rainfall out of this one either. And then Thursday, you see these systems that kind of clip. You see that Thursday? The forecast model run before this had it completely dry. So for now, I'm going to keep Thursday and even Friday dry, but this system, as it pushes down to the south and east, look how cold it is. We've got snow in some of those higher elevations. I mean, you still have to go pretty high, 6,000, 7,000 feet, but we're starting to see some of our first winter type weather that's entering the picture here by Thursday into Friday. And then that will kind of scoot on out of here. We got high pressure building in by next weekend, and that's going to warm things up again. But we got that low pressure system kind of lingering down over Southern California at that point as well. But I mean, now we're kind of going way out. Now we're looking at that same forecast model, but it's going out for today all the way through the end of next week. So we're starting to see more colors in here. The darker green, about 1/4 of an inch, right? Then we see the darker blue here. That's about 1/2 an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch. And then this blue here, 3/4. So you get the idea. Number one, most of the rain over really the next week is going to, most of it along the coast. And then it just kind of, you see how we see less and less as you head eastward. That's pretty typical with these weak storm systems. This, I do think, even with this particular forecast model, is overdoing it on how much rain it is showing for the coast, but that's where most of the rain is going to be. Now, the Climate Prediction Center is putting just north of us wetter than normal conditions here for the next 10 days. We're kind of in that near normal category. So this is good just for the sake of, at least it's not putting us in the below normal category. So that's good. At least we're seeing some of that rain in the forecast. So you see that. This is the cooler air. That's the storm system that's over us today. That kind of shifts down to the south and east and weakens, so it's not really so much cooler air anymore. Then it warms up for your Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday, and then this will approach by the time you get into the middle of next week. So there's that cooler air, the big drop in our temperatures on Wednesday, the chance for showers with that on Wednesday as well. Then we're going to see some energy kind of come right here, what we call a slider, an inside slider. You may have heard me use that expression before. It's when we have a storm system that moves from northwest down to the south and east, and it just clips northeastern California. This is a classic setup for some strong winds. So we'll be looking at possibility by the end of next week, the potential for some strong north winds. Now that's a bit of a concern for fire concerns, because we have to remember, yes, it's cooling off, we're seeing chances for rain in there, but we're still in the fire season. So when we get those dry north winds, that can be a bit of a concern here. So that's the end of next week. Now that will kind of dissipate, and then high pressure starts to settle in by next weekend, and that's going to mean some warmer weather by next weekend. The Climate Prediction Center doesn't have us in the cooler or warmer, but once again in that near normal category. Again, that's good, because that means it's not going to be too terribly cold. It's not going to be too terribly warm either. It's going to be just right. What is it like, as Goldilocks would say? All right, there's your 10-day trend. Roller coaster ride, folks. Roller coaster ride. And look at that on Monday. I mean, it is inching closer to that 90-degree mark. So could we get up to 90 by Monday of next week? Sure. So we got a bit of a warming trend, but then look at that, back down to the mid-70s by the middle and latter part of next week, back up again. We're getting to the upper 80s again by next weekend. So it's quite a bit of a roller coaster ride, but at least we're not dealing with a roller coaster ride with 90s in the triple digits, but more like the 70s and 80s. I think we'll take that. Now the wave heights for today, they should start to slowly subside, but there is a small correct advisory as you go at 10 nautical miles and more. Otherwise, we do expect those wave heights to decrease through the day on Sunday. So there's a marine forecast for today. They're going to start off fairly strong, but the winds will subside through the afternoon. Those waves out of the south at 2 feet at about 5 seconds, west from 7 feet at about 11 seconds, and of course those showers in the forecast. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Upper 60s to about 70 as we take you into Trinity County. Isolated showers, dry and warmer. Back to another chance for showers by next Wednesday. There's your North Coast neighborhood forecast. 68 degrees for Blue Lake, 71 for Garberville, and Shelter Cove, about 62 degrees. We take you up north, 76 out towards Orleans, 66 in Smith River, and McKinleyville, about 64 degrees. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, 74 degrees in Wairika, 76 in Happy Camp, and 65 degrees in McLeod. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, Tule Lake, 66, 64 degrees for Cedarville and Eeleville, about 67 degrees. And your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, again, you'll notice the trend for all of the 7-day forecast, up, then back down again, and then maybe back up towards the end of next week into next weekend. Your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. You've got those temperatures upper 60s to about 70. Yes, unfortunately, it looks like we'll be dealing with that haze and smoke again for your Sunday. Otherwise, it is warming up, and there you can see a chance for showers and cooler by the middle and latter part of next week. Your 7-day forecast for Redding. Yeah, there's the haze and smoke for tomorrow, unfortunately. I hate to say it. Temperatures upper 80s on Monday. We'll see what the smoke does, by the way, Monday, Tuesday, because, there is that potential. If this fire is still active, that we could be dealing with smoke and haze again, even early next week. Chance for showers, much cooler, though, by next Wednesday. Mid-70s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That is your morning update. Brian Wilson will be back at noon with the latest update, and, of course, also this evening at 6 p.m. Have a great morning and rest of your day and rest of your weekend as well.